G'day fam, it's me again, Prince from a Prince's podcast. I want to ask a question. What's the government responsibility to its people, as in the people it's governing? Is it to take care of the people, to create a system of law that will govern the people? Is it to take care of the needy? Is it basically to be like a parent figure, like a father figure for the people that it's governing? Because lately, I feel like we're at that point where we don't need a government because, like, close to 90% of our problems are caused by the government. Now, we cannot afford much because of the government, in the sense that tax rises like crazy. Now, if the tax rises, the minimum wage should as well. You know? Even with people that work in the government, they should get raises, which are equated to the tax or the rate or the amount that the tax goes up. Like if it goes up with tax goes up with like 0.5%, then salary should go up by 0.5%, similar to minimum wage. You know, equated to the interest rate. So it should make sense, and it should work like that so that the people can afford. Now, if you buying, let's say you're getting paid $100 or $100 a month, right? And tax is 14%, so you're left with 86%. Is that 86? Yeah, 86, 14%, 86. Okay, so now with that 86%, you're supposed to pay your mortgage, buy groceries, and everything else. So you're left with, let's just say plus minus 5 to 10%. Let's just say 10% for all those extra things that you might need. Let's say snacks or going out for fun or movies or whatever. And then the next coming month, tax goes up to 15%. 15, so now you're left with 85. So you still somewhat can buy those things, because if tax increases, everything else increases. So that 10% that you're supposed to be left with becomes either 5, maybe even 2%, maybe even less. So you can't afford to have any fun anymore, because you have to keep paying for the government's needs. You know, which is messed up, because if you pay anybody to do anything, they're supposed to do it well. But the government isn't doing that, and we keep paying them to do their job terribly. You know, it's like paying somebody to do your garden, and it ends up looking worse than it did before. Or they don't really do anything. They just come look at it for 4 hours and say, okay, I'm done, pay me. I think that's what the government's doing now. They're not really doing anything for us. They just collecting, and it's not just where I'm staying, the country or continent, it's the whole world. And I think until we address that, then we're in a real debacle. Because now the only people that are also gaining is the 1%, and the 99% is struggling. Is it really fair? I don't think it's fair. And the government should be held accountable for that. Because this is a government for us, by us. But is it for us, or is it just by us? You know? Just like the book called Animal and Man. It's about animals on a farm that feel like their farmer is ill-treating them. So they decide to kill the farmer and then elect animals among themselves to rule over them. And then the pigs, like, they win the vote to be the next rulers. And as soon as they become the rulers, they decide if you're not a pig from this day forth, then you shall not benefit from this government. You know, you shall struggle, you shall be enslaved, and everything you do will be for the government. So, in a sense, the government is the problem because whatever or whoever it is you put up there will look to gain themselves and people like themselves or their own factions or whatever. So, with that being said, I'll go again and ask if we really need a government. You know? Like, if we put people in office saying that we do need a government, why need they be there that long? Why do they have to be in government for such a long period, which is just enough for them to do a lot of damage? And they do a lot of damage. I think they should go for a trial period, you know? For like 5 months just to see what's going to happen. To hear their policies out or whatever and see if they implement them. And if that's good, then we'll give them a year. And if they keep up doing a good job, then it's a year and 6 months. No straight 2 years, a year and 6 months. We just keep adding 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. With the better a job they do, but when they mess up, they gotta go. Yeah, people will say, no, you can't just get in there and start making things better just like that. But my question would be, why not? If you can get in there and just make things worse, why can't you do better? I mean, you were elected by people to whom you made promises. If you can't keep them promises, then why can you not be held accountable? Because the government always holds people accountable, but they never get held accountable for their actions, their false promises, and all that. Money disappearing, loans from the World Bank, and all that. But at the end of the day, do they get held accountable? No. Why? I don't know, and it doesn't make sense to me. Because it's like teaching your kids something, and when they don't do it, you get mad. And that's the thing. Being held accountable. So I'll go back again and say, it's great that we have a government and all that, but do we really need them? Do they really serve us? Because that is their purpose, to serve us. Because now they like the police to serve and protect. But they're not serving us or protecting us. As a matter of fact, if anything, they're becoming the reason why we need protection. You know? For people that don't know, why the Bloods and the Crips was started in America, it's because they needed protection from the police. You know? Which is not a shock, because the police is like the government's dogs, you know. They tell them who to go bite, and they go bite and come back and report, yes, we bit them proper. You know, so that's the way the government works. They just point the finger and somebody attacks. If ever you go against the government, they point a finger at you and you can get killed for speaking out. You know, this has been happening for years and years. Will it ever stop? I doubt it. So I'm going back to the question, do we really need a government? Are they really doing what they're supposed to? I don't know. On my side, I'm not sure if we still need a government, because we're struggling with them. Might as well be struggling without them. In any case, it's a Prince from a Prince's podcast. I wish you love, peace, and happiness. Love y'all. Thanks for listening.